back.
We're back. Episode 41 of the We Rock podcast. What was that?
Sound like some feedback or something. I don't know.
It must have been some kind of noise in the background. Not really sure.
Might need to adjust the gain on the mic.
Maybe it. It's been a minute, actually. I don't know that it's. Well, I say that we've gone places and done things. So this was the last time we recorded was just a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. After we had gone to, you had come down and done the baseball thing, but we've now traveled places since. So it's been
we went opposite directions.
Yeah. You went to a cooler climate, and I went and got Montezuma's Revenge. So, hey, look, if you're looking for a weight loss program, I can't recommend it enough. It's 10 pounds in 2 weeks, and you don't really have to do anything.
Yep. Nothing beats a Jet2 experience.
So, no, it was, we had a good time. Took the kids to Cancun, and they had never seen blue water and still haven't. So, no, it's just, no, we had a good time. They got to see some clear blue water and did some snorkeling and did a lot of sitting by the pool and getting sun and eating junk, and
there you go.
So had a good time. Yeah. Since got back and just been feet to the ground running. So
absolutely, and of course everybody needs a vacation every now and then. An excuse to get away, but man, does it not? It sucks coming back, especially when you've been gone an entire week. And
well, it's funny because we were gone the same week, and you get back, and it's just your situation was worse than mine. So you got back, and then Ronnie was gone.
So
you two lovebirds didn't see each other for 2 solid weeks, and I'm sure there was some regression there.
There was,
I'm sure y'all held hands all week this week.
We have.
Yeah. And then, but for me, Janine's out this week.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So
were y'all even open this week?
I don't know. So we were, which is a bit bizarre because we were here, but I had to go to Marshall on Tuesday to take care of stuff. So, it's been a bit crazy. Just the month of July, which I know we're 8 days into August, but it's been, hurry up and get stuff done and blow and go. I mean, even still, as we go, the week leading up to me going on vacation, Anton was on vacation. So it's like boom, boom, boom. So our whole staff is at some point in time taken off over the summer.
Mm-hmm. And where's my stone?
What stone?
Oh man,
ma'am, I don't show an invoice for that. Can you produce an invoice for me?
Like the sheer amount of like that little bit of a panic moment you have whenever somebody calls, and which of course I know nobody ever calls you and asks this question. So
no,
but
never.
They say, I purchased a headstone from about 4 months ago. Where is it? Okay, well, what's the name on it? And then they'll tell you their name. But it's not the name that's engraved on it.
Oh yeah, no. I always ask that. What's the name on the stone? And they'll tell me theirs. I'm like, is that the name on the stone?
Mm-hmm. Because you'll look it up, and it may be the spouse of the person that purchased it, and you're looking that up, or it could be some other family member. And I'm not pulling anything up with that name. And then you're thinking, have we totally dropped the ball on this one? And then of course you'll finally get back around to that point of, okay, is your name the one on the stone? Oh, well, no, it's not. Here it is.
Well, and that's what I tell them. I'm like, look, it's stored. We store it in MonuWorks or whatever we tell them, online stuff or whatever. Our files are in there based on the name on the stone, not on your name, because I can find it that way. Mm-hmm. It's a lot easier if I know the name on the stone.
Mm-hmm.
So
the same as you in our shop, everything gets tagged on the order by the name that is on the headstone.
Mm-hmm.
So simple.
But no, it's been a bit wild. We're in the heat of it now, where for us,
the literal heat of it. My
finally,
God.
Though,
yes,
finally,
summer has finally decided to summer, and
yeah,
Go away.
I mean, look, last year when we did this, we did the podcast, the whole summer, we're talking about, oh my gosh, it's 110 or 105 or whatever temperature it was. And it was just hot nonstop. Mm-hmm. I think we've broke 100 once this summer so far, maybe twice.
Nah, we've done it several times.
But here, I don't think we've done it that many times. I mean, we've had so much rain. Of course, now it's starting to dry out, but we can finally get stuff out. But man, it's just one thing after another.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, it's been a bit crazy, but for us, August always means we got to get everything out for the university before football season starts. Mm-hmm. So that's been a race against time on this one, and. One more thing.
Same for us. We hurried up and got a state championship monument done for one of the local schools here, so it'd be in place before school starts this coming week. And man, it just seems the amount of calls that we've gotten over the past week and a half, 2 weeks, it has significantly increased because I think everybody's kind of in that summer mode of vacation, and everybody's finally back home now, and people are. They're either starting new orders or it's checking up on things that they have in progress just because now they're home. They want to see it. They're wondering about it. And then that's probably about 10% of the calls we get. The other 90% are all spam.
Oh, dude, I don't know.
I'm tired of it.
I don't know who put me on a list for me to get calls about trying to set up a loan, but I'm getting it every day.
I actually entertained that one time whenever they were talking that there was some finance company, and I was like, okay, like, what could you lend me up to? And they said, well, we could probably get you up to about, $250,000. I said, okay. And 0 interest? No, we can't do that. And I said, well, then I'm not interested.
Well, and even like that, I think the one I heard the other day was something like $250,000, and because they have their automated thing, but it's still at 7%. And I'm like, dude, if I was going to go get a loan like that, I'm going to go get it from my bank that I already have my money at. Why would I go get it from you? I don't know you from Adam. I kind of treat that like those calls like it. I'm not going to use you who randomly called me to get a loan, just like I'm not buying solar panels from the guy that knocks on my door. If I want solar panels, I'll go research it.
And I still don't want them.
No, not interested.
No, it's not worth the headache. There's a lot of people here that I guess you could say fell for the door-to-door salespeople selling the solar panels, and now they are severely regretting every bit of that.
Oh, I bet they are. I've asked those people before whenever they do. I'm like, so they go, well, they pay for themselves in such and such time, and I said, well, how long does the battery last on them? And how long at what point in time do I got to replace these parts? Well, and it's those time periods are always shorter than what they say they will replace themselves in the value. And you go like, well, what happens if they get hit by hail? Do they survive against hailstorm? And they go,
That's a very big
Yeah. No. And so it hails once a year here. So heck, I just got a new roof because of it.
It was a pretty roof.
Mm-hmm. But no, it's been a bit crazy, just a lot of stuff going on. My new dolly came in today.
Oh, your not automated, your powered dolly.
Yep, the one trip dolly. Yep. So they came by this morning, dropped it off, and we took delivery of it. So had to rearrange the back. My massive storage area that I have there. It's just huge. So I had to rearrange some of that, so we had room for it to have a place. But no, so that's here and rock and roll with that. So it's cool.
Yeah, one more. Like I said, I think it's a great idea. I just don't have a spot for it for me. Because like you said, one of the things you deal with a lot is cemeteries that have an obscene amount of curbing that's especially raised. And in that case, absolutely, that definitely has a spot. But fortunately, I only have one of those cemeteries around here I have to deal with. And which I hate. I hate curbing in a cemetery anyways.
I don't like even selling it. Yeah, it's good money.
It is.
But man, it's a pain in the butt just to even put in.
It's a pain to put in. And then on top of that, I think one of the last times I quoted a curbing job or coping or whatever you want to call it to a customer, I met her out in the cemetery and she was adamant that she wanted it. And I said, ma'am, that is no problem. It's something we can do for you. But I just want you to be aware that the plot you're currently standing in right now is completely curbed. And she said, well, I don't see it. And I said, exactly. Because over the years, mowers come through, the grass piles up, sand piles up on top of the grass. It's a new layer of soil. And all of a sudden, the thousands of dollars that you spent on coping is no longer visible.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's between those kind of things, it's sinking, not sinking, just getting covered up. But then on top of that, you add into that the issues of trying to get around it, trying to get through it, trying to get to it. Yeah, I mean, we've got one cemetery where they sell the plots in order so that it goes down the rows, but they keep adding curbing and they go from, so you almost have to look it up. It's a cemetery in Caldwell called St. Mary's. And when you look it up, it faces, I don't know that you can say it faces east. It faces northeast. And the, hey, it's close to east. But you come into the cemetery on the south side, but towards the west end of the cemetery, and all of the new plots, well, the old new plots where they're still allowing curbing, are on the northeast side. Okay. So you've got to go down and get in front of a bunch of things that have curbing to get to it. You're like, it's a nightmare. And it's all downhill. It's all downhill over there. God.
Literally and figuratively.
Yes. So no, it's just it's a constant battle for us with some of that stuff, chasing down how to get to plots. So I went ahead and bought it. And also between that and our headaches we had last year with some of our setting equipment, which is why I bought the crane, and now I've got this, and I just don't want to be down. I've kind of got to a place now where I'm not wanting to ever find myself in a situation where I'm going, how on earth am I going to get my rocks out? I don't want to have to go rent a piece of equipment. Just grab the next one and go.
And it's funny how the amount of equipment and tools that you accrue over the years, and a lot of the times it's not based out of just a blatant want that you just absolutely want that piece of equipment. It's because you've ran into a situation that just frustrated you to the point you spend money to make sure that you don't get frustrated anymore.
Yep. So we that's kind of how we play that game is trying to make sure that it's not a problem anymore. So
now, have you ever bought a piece of equipment that you thought would help you and it turned out to be just a giant waste of time and money?
Yes. I'm trying to, I've done that a few times where I'm like, depends on what it is. And I don't mean to, the problem is if I say it, I feel like I'm throwing somebody under the bus with it, but it's not really the case. It's my decision and we just don't use it like I thought we would. A number of years ago, there was a big deal about these monument clamps.
That was going to be mine. Yes.
And but I don't mean the clamp from the top. It would have these two cams on it, and it had two wheels, and you rolled it across the base and pinched the edge of your die.
Oh, that setting clamp.
Yes. And so it would pinch the edge of the die, and you would push down on the handle, and it would lift the die, and you could pull your boards out or put your set cushions underneath there or whatever. And I bought it. We used it a few times, but I don't think we used it for maybe 9 months, a year. And then just got put on the shelf or it started to slip. We didn't know how to clean it. I still have it. It sits back here.
We still have ours, and we still do use it. But the main problem that I've ran into with it, and of course, we've figured out how to get around this now. But whenever you go to set up with it, if you are not perfectly dead center of that die, it will lock those cams in, and it is a mother to get off of it. But we like it, especially we don't use it for P2 dies, because obviously you can just use a setting bar, and even if a little piece chips whenever you're setting, coming off the sticks, that's no problem.
Yeah.
But we mainly use it just for our P5s, and it works fine with that.
So, that's kind of why I bought it, was for that. But then I ended up kind of realizing that there was other methods that we would use that were a little faster for us to do it. And so we would rock the die back and forth down to our set cushions off of boards. But of course, now we'll use straps, or we'll use a different clamp.
Right.
I think it's a Weehaw clamp. And it's got the big square cushions on each side, and it's a scissor clamp.
And I have that clamp, and I do like it. But
I like that one quite a bit.
The one I was referring to that I did not like was the one that had just basically the two donuts on the inside of it.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And it's got like these big wings on it, and that might pick up a wet paper towel, maybe.
But a paper towel nonetheless.
And the thing that was the worst about that one is, since it just had those two small points of contact that were round, if you were not perfectly centered, it would want to rock. And then as soon as it did that, the weight would want to transfer, and it'd want to slip out of the clamp. That clamp currently sits in the back of my shop, and if anybody wants it, I will make you a screaming deal on it.
Pay for shipping. There's equipment like that, and actually, it's funny that you kind of bring that up, because we got a message from somebody like a week or two ago asking us some of these kind of questions, and
from the mailbag,
from the we can't call it vaunted because that's a Shapiro thing.
That's correct.
But from our mailbag here, we've got a guy out of Arizona sent us a message and was asking a couple of things, but he asked, one of those questions was, if he's getting into the industry, what are some of the the best options to learn as far as equipment and things like that? And he just said that he didn't want to spend $100K on the best stuff, right? Meaning, I don't want to spend a lot of money and go buy a knuckle boom crane and put it on this truck. I get that. I didn't do that immediately either. When I started, and I think we may have gone over this, I don't know, but when I started off with a lawn trailer, basically. So it's a kind of a higher side trailer, and with a wooden deck, and then it had a gate on the back of it, and then a monument dolly that I bought from probably Miles Supply or Bicknell, probably Miles, because I think I bought it from Ronnie Brown. Back in the day.
The red dolly that everybody has or has had.
And I thought I was high on the hog because I had bought I bought mine with the brake. I spent the extra money, bought the one with the brake, and I didn't have the money to begin with. So, and we used to I'd put the monument on the trailer. What I would do is I'd take the die whenever I'd pick the die up, because this back early on, before we were ever sandblasting, I would order it finished, and I'd put the die on the trailer, boards behind it, so it'd be standing up. There'd be boards behind it, and I would ratchet strap it to the sides of the trailer so it wouldn't fall over. And then the base just kind of floated around in the bed of that trailer.
She's just back there,
pretty much. But I did at least have the wherewithal to not put the die on, like, sitting on the tongue, but kind of on the side of the trailer. So it was a little lopsided in weight, but I always figured if I had to hit the brakes real hard, the base was going to slide up to the front of the trailer, and at least it wouldn't hit the die, right?
Right.
So, but what we would do is, as long as the trailer was, as long as the base wasn't more than 6 foot, which it wasn't often. If we had a 6'6" base, we were in trouble. But the trailer deck on it was 6 foot, or was like 6'4" or something like that. So I could put the base on the dolly, and I would ratchet strap it down, and then roll it down the gate on the trailer. But I also had the wherewithal to back the trailer up so it was at least over the grass. So if the dolly got away from me, it would roll into the grass and flip over and not destroy or scratch my base.
Yep.
So we did it that way. And then the same thing when it came to the die and all that. So we started with nothing. And when I say, when I like winging a prayer, I did all that with a 1/2-ton truck pulling that trailer, and that was the start of it.
And that's just proof positive that in this business, especially getting started out, yes, the big toys are nice and they sure as heck make life a lot easier, but it is possible to do it on a pretty bare bones budget. And how you get the piece of stone to the cemetery and how you set it, that does not matter. And it does not affect what the final look of that product is going to be. As long as you are working on constantly improving yourself to design good and meaningful memorials, then that's the main thing. But to the person that did send us that message, especially if you're getting started and you're looking for equipment, tools, anything like that, to kind of highlight back on one of our previous episodes, it might have even been our last one. This is a pretty good time for you to be looking for that used equipment, because there are shops that are consolidating.
Yep.
And they are selling automated curtains, compressors, setting trucks, you name it.
And in the Monument Builders Facebook group, I'm now allowing a little bit more of the sale of some of this equipment, because we've seen so much of this go on. It's just kind of a little bit more of a readily available. I'm trying to allow some of these posts without it being overly advertised. And of course, I guess here I'm saying it. So even like our vendors, I'm opening it up a little bit more to ads, but I don't want to be blown up with ads.
Correct.
So, if you've got something new that's great, that's changing the world, please post it. I think that's a good thing to do. Let people know. But if you're posting daily or weekly about your monument granite sale price or whatever like that, I think that's a little bit obnoxious. If you've got if you've got a mausoleum that's sitting there because you're trying to get rid of it and you can make a deal on it, I think that's fine.
Just by shipping.
Yeah. But if you're sitting there looking at like, hey, we're going to run 10% off for the month of May, I'm like, nah, that's not really what we're looking for. Let's try to help each other out. And hey, we've got these extra odds and ends here. If anybody's interested in them, that kind of stuff, I think that's good.
Yes.
But so I say that to say that kind of keep your eye out in there for that kind of stuff, as well as the products being purchased sold on consolidation. I got a new compressor that way. And I mean, when I say new, I don't mean like it was used. I mean, like, gosh, I don't think it had 100 hours on it.
Oh, wow.
And when I looked it up, I feel like I stole it, based on the price I paid for it. And I mean, I'm not going to tell him that. He may listen to this, but I'll deny it. So, that wasn't me. That was Austin that said that. So no, but yeah, keep your eyes out there. I think that those are good places, and keep in mind the equipment like the knuckle boom cranes, the powered dollies, that I have, the setting trailers, all of that stuff's really good and cool, and it does make the job easier for sure. But I would say it's not necessarily there to make the job easier. While it does that, it makes the job more efficient. And if you've only got one monument to install a week, efficiency isn't what you're looking for.
Correct.
efficiency, I would say, depending upon what your volume is, at whatever aspect you're at, if you're installing one monument a week, or your sales, install, whatever you're doing, manufacturing, it needs to be how do I get to a place where I'm more self-sufficient? The self-sufficient portion should come first because that's where your money is going to be, and then the efficiency should come after.
Absolutely.
So in all that, design softwares, because it's going to help you sell stuff more. You'll present better.
And that is one thing, especially with the design software, that I would immediately go ahead and jump out and get the Cadillac of it, which in my opinion is Memorial Designer. That one, once you learn that program, there is nothing that you cannot do with it. And as far as not just the useful aspect of it, in that it's the presentation to your customer. It just looks so much more polished, fit, clean, and it definitely helps set yourself apart from those that are not using that program.
Correct.
And of course, I guess that's a shameless plug there for old Cameron, but
he's not going to give you a discount for saying it, but he does have a new package of clip art he could probably send us. That'd be nice.
And I did see that.
So, but no, I mean, there's that, and it depends upon how skilled you are with what you are. I talked to, when I went to Marshall, to mess with that stone on Tuesday, I stopped in and I'll tell you this, I was a little apprehensive to stop into the Marshall Monument Company over there, because I knew that we had installed that piece on their, in their backyard, but, that group had come to us directly about it from several other things. And honestly, they dodged a bullet. Not the people, not the purchaser, that the monument company did. So, anyways, I talked to them and they were really cool. We got along pretty well. And she's on. What's the other one? What's the one Ian's on?
Monucad.
I don't know why I always forget the names. All look, I do the same thing with MonuWorks. The only reason I even recall the name is because I just looked up over here. But that's because to Dave, I always call it something else, but I try to harass him.
Yep.
But no, with MonuCAD is what she's using, and she's, how do I do this, or I was like, man, I don't know. But I told her, I said, if you can learn what Ian's doing, Ian makes it look easy, and he's very good with it. He can get all the colors rendered. He can get it. I would tell you that you would not know the difference between that and Memorial Designer if you're that good, but I don't know. I don't know how difficult it is. Shannon's been awesome. She's really good over there. But I haven't ever fooled with it. So I'm not the person to talk to when it comes to that one.
Mm-hmm. I'm one of those that I started out with Gerber and
same
had, of course, whenever I bought the program, I don't even know if Memorial Designer was around then, and I never even heard of MonuCAD, and it wasn't until that I saw Memorial Designer that I knew that there was something better out there. But if you do choose to go that route, one thing I will say with Cameron is he is really good about backing up his product, especially the YouTube channel that he has, to where he has many, many steps broken down into separate videos. If you have the time, sit down and watch them. You can learn a lot from them, or call one of us. We'll be more than happy to help you through it as well. Not saying that I'm the best or you're the best, but we figured out what buttons to click or double click.
Yeah, look, you mash enough buttons at some point in time, you're going to figure it out, right? I mean, it's that
was one of the funny ones. Whenever you and I saw Cameron in New York, and you told him that you were frustrated because you didn't want to have to click this button more than one time. And he said, "Oh, I've already fixed it for you, Tony."
He's got this weird dry sense of humor, but he is rather funny. So, but no, he's got a good product. I like his product. I mean, obviously I use it, and it's made me a lot of money over the years, and I think it's good. But if you're trying to figure out where you're going to put your money up front, when it comes to equipment, I would say focus on the sales side first. There's logical things that you can do to get your stuff installed. Keep in mind that this stuff was installed before without all the fancy equipment we have these days, right? You could easily build a tripod and use a chain hoist, and you could probably get away with doing that for under $100. Mm-hmm. And if you've got a dolly that can get it from A to B, you can lift it up and set it with that. So
and still have the same lifting capacity that would rival our cranes.
Correct. And I have used said device. So whenever I had gone and done that, is before I had the crane on the truck, but I took the big truck with me, and I refused to drag the trailer. So I didn't want to drag the setting trailer to Wyoming, which is where I did an install for a statue. And so Emily and I drove the truck through all the way to Colorado and all that. And what I did was I had the dolly on the truck, I had the monument on the truck, and I unloaded I'd already practiced it here at the shop. So keep in mind, don't sit there and go, oh yeah, he just went up and went. No, before I made a fool of myself, I practiced unloading that stone from the truck with all my equipment here at the shop. So built an A-frame, took it out there to Wyoming, loaded everything up, unloaded the stone onto the dolly, pulled it over to the spot, huffed and puffed the whole way, not because I was out of shape, but because there's no oxygen in that state. These guys, that family was very nice, but they're 2.5 the times of what I was at the time. I think I was probably 185 pounds at that point. And I swear to you, they're huge. These guys are huge. You okay? You need help? I'm like, God, it's not that I'm out of shape. I can't. You have no air. This kid who grew up at sea level can't breathe.
You didn't stop at Walmart and buy some of that canned air?
The canned air. That was, I think, yeah. Wish I would have.
Right.
But no, so you could do this stuff with very limited funds. You can get away with a lot. You don't need the big fancy equipment. Start where it's going to make the difference in the sales. As the sales grow and you need to become more efficient because you don't want to get behind, that's when you start investing into the other things that help you go a little faster. Definitely so. And I would say, to me, I would go, and you correct me if you go a different direction, but to me, I would go sales, installation, and then on the sandblast side to be able to improve what I could do sandblast wise.
Oh yeah, definitely set your shop up last especially if you're wanting to do a tiered setup of how to get into this. And of course during the interim, because I know one thing that he had asked is where can you go for education, because that's one thing that you and I really hit on is education. And of course, aside from the conventions and joining the associations, feel free to reach out to people like Tony and I. We're more than happy to open the doors up. I've done it for people here. I've had some people come up and stay an entire week up here, and they basically worked in the shop side by side with us, seeing how we do our process. And I would say go to more than one, because everybody has their own ways about doing things, and feel free to take the one you think works best, or take a blend of it and then throw your own twist into it, because none of us have the absolute correct answer. We just do something that works for us. Yeah.
And that's what I've always said. Look, I'm willing to give up, to give education, give information. It doesn't mean it's any good. You just remember, you get what you pay for. So, but people were willing to give me information when I needed it. So the best way I can repay that is to do the same thing in several times in fold.
Same.
And I can't help improve the industry unless I'm willing to do something about it, which is why I probably overextend myself, but I feel like there's value there to do it. So no, I'm happy to do that. I think when it comes to the education, if you're looking for places, one of the first things I'd tell you is first find your regional association.
Or join SMBA.
You can join SMBA. We have no borders.
That's right.
And it's probably the least conservative thing we do is not have a border. So.
ICE has not shut us down yet.
No, but we might invite Tom Holland to come speak. Holman to speak.
Oh, I would. Oof. We need to figure out how to make that happen.
But no, I mean, so check out your regional associations. There's a bunch of them. So there's Southern, which is traditionally Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and New Mexico. We've got some members in Oklahoma, some in Arkansas, but we've had members all over from California to Indiana and so forth. Come join us. We've got members that come out from Florida that are awesome. I mean, and we welcome everybody, but there's the Mid-America, which covers Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, Missouri, and some of Arkansas. You've got the Tennessee, Kentucky, which always meets with the Carolinas. There's Mid-Atlantic, which is like always in Baltimore, and it's kind of the Northeast, but not really the Northeast. Right. There is the Northeast group, which is the New York guys, which is we affectionately know it as MonuCon, and those are our besties up there. And then there's a Pacific Coast Memorials or Association that covers California, Oregon, Washington State, as well as Alaska. It seems to me like it should also do Hawaii, but I'm sure the Hawaii people have a problem with traveling that all the time. So, nevertheless, I mean, there's places to get education from there. Look to things like the EGA has a new retail members education. Yes. I don't know if Barry has one. That I don't, know if that's a thing for them up there. I'm sure it might be. So don't quote me on it. I mean, you could quote me on it. I don't know that I care.
Just call somebody in Barry and say Tony said.
Yeah. Tell him the Texan who's only ordered a few things from Barry. I will say the stuff I've ordered from Barry is phenomenal. I did get a piece in. I showed you the picture that one I did recently that Mark Girardi knocked out of the park for me. And I cannot say enough good things about those folks. And there's good people up there, but they're all willing to share information too. So the EGA class, though, that's usually taught, or that's always taught by my good friend Troy, the Torch Caldwell out there. Troy's amazing. Now, I will say that I've sent Janine. I haven't gone, but I've sent Janine before. She enjoyed it. We do things different than Troy does. And Troy doesn't understand the way we do things. That's perfect. Not understand, but he's like, why do you do it this way? I do it this way. This is better. I think teach their own. 6 for one, half a dozen another. Yep. And so his way's not wrong. Our way's not wrong. It seems to work. So, but you take all the information with a grain of salt and see what's going to work for you. There's plenty of avenues for education. And getting that question from him on how to do those things, I think was cool to see how that kind of, people reaching out to us. In the end, what I finally told him at the end of that statement was, it's a quote that I use a lot from my father-in-law. And my father-in-law says, every decision you make is a compromise, right? So with that in mind, if you choose A over B, you're sacrificing some of the benefits of B and vice versa. So you have to understand that when you make those decisions, you are going to sacrifice something whether it comes to education, whether it comes to tools, whatever it is. You have to be open to hearing things and trying things. And a good example of this is I sent you a picture yesterday, and I'm going to call Steve Kaz out on this because I had a lot of expletives to say about that guy the other day. And so Steve called me out on something at Hard Rocks. And he said, man, I love your stuff, but you need to tool the backgrounds of your panels. I'm like, maybe, I don't know. you just kind of placate the information. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, yesterday I have a stone that you've seen because you saw it when it was here, and I just hadn't had a chance to get around to finishing it. And so yesterday I go, all right, we got to finish this thing.
Yep.
And I had to carve a star. The star's not big. What are you like? It's like 6 inches. Okay. And so I go out there, and it was polished. It was a 5-sided star that was polished, and I had to bevel it on each leg. And so it's kind of that Texas star look.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I did that, and then I stepped back from it, and I go, crap. And the first thing I thought of was Steve's statement. And I go, I hate that guy. Because then what happened was that star was so bright and everything else washed out. You couldn't see it.
Mm-hmm.
So I put, I don't know, 3.5 hours, because this thing's pretty intricate. It's not like it was just tooling a background on a big open panel. I mean, would you agree? There's a lot of intricate details into this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I spent a lot of time tooling it. But the picture that I sent you afterwards showed it was just very good. At least, well, it looked better. I can't say it was very good. I'm not going to sit there and go, oh, yeah, it was great, and da-da-da. But you know what I mean? It was much better than it was, and it stood out better and looked clean. So all that to say, man, not all the information you're ever going to get is going to be perfect for you, but don't look the information in the mouth, because you don't know when you're going to need it.
Oh yeah.
So, but no, it's talking
about you never know when you're going to need it. I have an album on my phone that's just called Ideas. And anytime I take a picture of something that I like,
yep,
I add it to that folder so I don't have to scroll back and try to find stuff on it one day. And I constantly scroll it all the time. Just it's weird things I've taken pictures of, pieces of architecture in cities.
I'm just making sure it's stuff that you can share.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, you just need stuff. I'm not like you, Tony.
You lie. I know what our Instagram thread looks like.
I saw one of those the other day that said, how cooked would your friend group be if your Instagram chats had been publicly released? And
I don't know. My stuff got hacked a long time ago.
That's your story, and you were sticking to it.
I don't know who you're sharing that stuff with.
I'm sitting here looking at my phone, and I get one of those spam texts and says, traffic is out of control. Are orange barrels the new state symbol for Texas? Or there to that one that they said, be like I-35. Always be constantly working on yourself.
Working on yourself. Yeah. 290, 45, pick whichever one you want.
Right.
I've talked about one of my all-time favorites is a T-shirt that said, welcome to Aggieland, under construction since 1876.
That's a good thing, though.
Yeah. There's always at least 6 cranes on campus. Don't know why. There's constantly something. I guess it's the state bird.
Well, shoot, whenever we took our trip to New York a couple of weeks back, I'm like anybody else. I take pictures of the main things everybody takes pictures of there, the Empire State Building, the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, the same things you can find on Google where you could have just not taken a picture of it.
Correct, but I have my own now. Mine are better angles. but of course, I'm taking pictures of different architecture, looking for ways to incorporate that into design here. But then I can hear my wife and my mom laughing at me from the back seat of the Uber because we're passing a truck with a crane on it, and I'm taking pictures of that too. and cranes are cool. I like them.
Yeah. Yeah. Mine's great. I've got to figure out how to change my hook. I want a different color hook. Mine's like lime green. It's Can I get a blue one to match my truck?
Just use it a lot. It'll
wear off.
It'll wear off.
So no, but things have been good. I mean, it's been rather busy. Been chasing down, getting stuff out. Trying to keep my head above water more than anything. Mm-hmm. So, but I don't know about you. What you got going on?
Literally the exact same thing. And of course, now, of course, we've referenced this before. Is now I think we may be getting some definitive answers on tariffs now.
Yep. Yeah.
Possibly.
That is the new thing today. Actually, I mean, you're starting to see some of this stuff with. The problem is, I think India is right up in the air now, right? Mm-hmm. So everybody's kind of going, whoa.
Yeah, India was for a little while our budget choice to go to. It basically stopped all Chinese rock.
Yeah.
And now I haven't even seen what the numbers are, but I'm seeing that things are supposed to stick now, and it may change next week because there may be a meeting between leadership between our country and whatever prospective country it may be, and we may be looking at a reduction or an even increase in tariffs.
Well, and that's the deal. It's like, look, and I'm going to say this, and I don't mean this of the citizens or the people of India. The government of India doesn't like us.
No,
they're not for it. They want our money,
mm-hmm.
but they don't like us. I mean, that's why they side with folks like China and Russia and stuff like that on different things. And, that's fine, I guess. Really, you can get political and go, well, it's not, or whatever. That's not where I'm going with it. It doesn't necessarily impact me, but what it is doing is impacting me currently because of the tariff situation. Mm-hmm. And I would say in the end, what ends up happening is they're going to have to do something. Something's going to have to change. And my guess would be that they will probably just eat the tariff or deal with it because they don't want to disalign themselves with Russia, would
Correct.
Be my guess. All right. So, I mean, the deal is that those tariffs are going to change. They're going to ebb and flow. We're going to deal with it, whether it's with China, India, or whatever. And as a business, we've got to play chess and not checkers. And we can't get so hung up on those changes, the ebbs and flows, so that we're so worried about tomorrow.
Right.
So,
and do I think that it's just going to totally upset the industry? No, I do not, because whatever the prices of things are is just the cold hard fact that that's what the price is going to be. Yep. And does that mean you might sell some smaller size stones that still fit within those individuals' budget? Absolutely. But that doesn't mean that your design has to diminish at all. That doesn't mean that the quality of your work has to go down.
Mm-hmm.
It's still going to be what it's going to be. And it's like gas prices. Anytime that gas prices took a jump, especially looking years back, whenever gas finally crested the $2 mark, the sky's falling. The world's going to end. We can't travel anymore. And it's one of those unfortunate things that we just learn to deal with.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of fact. And then no matter the amount of griping you want to do, it's not going to change it. You just adapt and continue to push forward.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to have to figure out what it is. I think the gas price is a good example because, like you said, because you've got to buy it, but you know what you do is you tend to cut in other areas. Mm-hmm. And I think that your customers are going to cut in other areas, and maybe you decide that I'm going to eat some of this cost. You probably won't. I still, and I know this sound, it always sounds more harsh when I say it than what I actually mean. But a family doesn't know what to expect on a price of a monument when they
Correct.
decide they need a monument. You know what I mean? So
mm-hmm.
if they come into my shop They will go, I have no idea what a price is. Now they may, if they've shopped around, they've heard a couple other prices, but it doesn't matter. There's not a, you know what, all monuments are X. It's not that way. It's not going to be that way.
Right.
You know, there's not an MSRP when it comes to a monument. And that's what you're going to run into is you're going to have people kind of going, what is it? Prices are going to go up because of tariffs. Now they may change what they're going to choose, but they're still going to, if they've walked in the door, their intention is to buy something. Correct. It does not mean that they're going to buy it from you, right. But their intention is to buy something. I would bet, and this is not like I don't have any numbers on this, but I would be willing to bet that the number of people who go in to talk about a monument and even shop around and get prices or whatever and never buy or do not buy for a while, I would bet that percentage is pretty low, single digits.
I agree.
You know, I just don't see. I think if you've started that train rolling, and it may be that, like, I've run into a few times where they'll have bought or they'll have come in and got numbers, and then you don't hear from them for a year because they had to kind of go get things settled, but they still buy. Right. And it's just not that they're buying right then. So I still feel like that number's single digit percentage. You know. Of the people that are going to do that. So they're going, don't get yourself hung up on the number. They may not buy a American black die.
Correct.
Okay. They may have to switch to dark cloud gray, Misabi, something else, you know, superior black. They may have to switch to something else. Mm-hmm. You know, it's kind of like whenever they go, oh, I like that blue one there. Blue. What is it? Pearl.
It's so pretty. It sparkles.
It's phenomenal. And you go, yeah, here's the price.
Phenomenal price.
I don't like it anymore. Because I swear that's every shop. Almost like so many families walk in the door and it's what is, I like that color, that blue pearl color. How much is it? Oh, I don't like it anymore.
Mm-hmm. And that's why on my color display here in my shop, it is the top left color. It is the first one that their eyes go to. And it's not to encourage blue pearl all the time, but a lot of times it's because even like whenever they sit down at the desk, whenever we have a consultation with them, it's the one that's right next to them. And that we quote that color probably more than we do any other color on that board, just from an initial quote. And it's one of those, whenever they find out what the top is, whenever the next quote hits them, that's not as bad.
So there's two rules of thought to this in marketing. And there's two ways that this stuff has been set up. When I sold flooring, I kind of monitored some of this because I did it two different ways just to kind of see how things would go. We had a display room that was kind of the shape of an L.
Okay.
And half of this room, like the lower price of the room was funny because we had it set up where that was not as much light in the coming in. And then the other side that had the higher end tiles had more light, right? So what would happen was if you walked the mindset was if you start from the cheapest and you walk your way up in price, you would go from base model price and you would step up each step, right? So you would get to a product that was outside of their budget, and typically they would go down one, right? Mm-hmm. So let's say you started off at $5 a square foot installed, and you got to $10 a square foot installed, and like, oh, too much. You'd end up at like $9.50, right? Yeah. So they'd come down one. But I also noticed that if I started at the $10 a square foot and worked my way down, they'd ride that pony all the way down to the floor.
Yep.
Right. And they'd get to that cheap stuff and then beat it. So but you've got to figure out what your market is and really your sales style on that.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of have our stuff is organized a little differently. So it's actually more set up based on half the wall is import and half the wall is domestic. And then you've got it's set up based on color from there. So color palette.
Mm-hmm.
And then I actually, my grays are, in fact, you can see them from here. They're in the middle row, the first set of tiles there. So that one right there is the Keystone Blue.
Yep.
So.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And like I said, it's you just figuring out your sales style. And I'm not saying this to say that every customer that walks in the door that you're just out for the most amount of money that you can get out of them. But you do want to structure whatever strategy it is that you have in your shop that does lead to better sales. And it's one of those that the majority of the people that walk in, they know absolutely nothing about this business, and it's our job to educate them on it. And like I had one just last week, he had said he wanted a particular color. And I said, well, that's an import color. That's something that I have to check with my suppliers. One, see if they have it in stock, and two, if I can, well, of course I can, we can have it imported. And he said, well, you don't deal with any quarries here in Texas? I said, there are some quarries here in Texas. And he said, well, there's one down in Llano. He said, you can't get it from there? Well, sir, that's the Sunset Red quarry. That's where they quarry Sunset Red. Well, they don't do any other colors there? No, sir. It's the Sunset Red quarry. That is where Sunset Red comes out of the ground. And it was just this back and forth. And I still don't think he ever left fully understanding that quarries just can't pick and choose colors.
Well, I don't understand. Don't you just pour that in a mold?
I've had that. I've had somebody ask me that before, if we pour them in molds here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's of course, we can laugh about it just because we have the intimate knowledge of how this industry works and where everything comes from. But John Q. Public does not.
Well,
it's not that they're ignorant. It's just that they don't know it.
There was something you said the other day that I thought was funny. Is why is it that
yesterday we talked about it yesterday?
Yeah. Why is it that our industry of all things is where logic just seeps out? So, and I don't mean amongst
all the norms.
Gone. Yeah, all the norms, and this isn't amongst the monument folks; it's amongst the customers. Mm-hmm. And this stemmed from like your story about somebody trying to bring something in. Yep. And I mean, if you want to go into that, but it's
the first go around. What he's trying to do is save the most amount of money he can and still get a memorial. The first time he called me and he said he has a piece of granite that he wants me to engrave. What he showed up with was a piece of poured concrete. And of course, I declined and said that that's something that we are not going to engrave. And so he comes back yesterday and he has some 1-inch thick countertop stock. And he's wanting us to engrave that. And he wants it to be an upright. And I told him, I said, sir, the cemetery that you're wanting it to go to they have rules on what the minimum thickness can be for a headstone placed in the cemetery. And this is obviously falls far below it. And he got very upset with me. And I told him, it's not me trying to say that you can't bring something to me, because we do that from time to time. I said, but the budget you have in mind, I do have things here that will work. And he still will not do it because he is bound and determined he's going to find something to bring me. And another thing, what John Q. Public doesn't understand is, yeah, we do have money wrapped up in our materials, but the vast amount of the markup that goes into our pricing structure is not on the material, it's in our service.
Correct.
And they think that bringing me a piece of granite is somehow going to save them a substantial chunk of the price, and that's sadly just not the case.
This is also where the divide comes in, and everybody, we've all heard it, so it's not like I'm hiding the ball or I'm not hiding the ball, but bringing something to light that nobody's ever heard. But and not all those wholesalers, but a lot of wholesalers over the years have said, I've heard them say it, where they go, the retailers are where the money is. You make money hand over fist on retail because they look at margins. Mm-hmm. And they're going, I know what the stone costs and I know what you're selling it for. They're like, okay, yeah, but two things. one, I've got a lot of overhead for a small shop to sell that one little piece. Mm-hmm. And not that you don't have a lot of overhead, but we don't work on volume. Not like that. Not like you'd need to be a manufacturer. And so that same kind of concept, like for me to be a manufacturer, I have to produce rock. You got to move it. You're talking, you need to be running a couple of trucks a week out of your place to justify it. So with that in mind, they can have smaller margins because one, they're all fighting against each other on numbers. Mm-hmm. So their margins have to be a little bit tighter.
Yes.
I'm not the one who set all this stuff up. I just came into the game. And so, and I'm not saying anybody's right or wrong, but in the same breath here, like what you're saying on the retail side of this, that stone costs nothing. But the statement we say around here all the time is that it's $350 an hour for that truck to run with two guys in it. Mm-hmm. So for me to send that truck out an hour, it's an hour out and an hour back and an hour worth of install. If they're only doing that one job,
correct.
So you're $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
And
this conversation right here goes back to what we were talking about. The individual that sent us the message getting started is that whenever you are pricing out things to people, there is sometimes that gut inclination to try to just lowball the crap out of the price. Mm-hmm. And yes, that may get you the sale, but it's not sustainable. You have to put value in your work and yourself.
Yep. You got to be able to cover it. You got to be able to cover the problems, the stuff that's going to come up. You got to be able to cover, the what if factor. If I drop something, I break something. That's what I've made this argument forever when it comes to final dates. I hate final dates. It's not anything new. I haven't hidden the ball on that one for sure, because it's the risk that is there that the liability you take on doing a final date far outweighs the amount of money you make. Now, for me, I'm $350 for a final date. I don't know if I'm supposed to share that around here or not. I don't care. It's already done. So at $350 for a date, for a final date, and then that's just the one line, month, day, year, spelled out or abbreviated, didn't matter. Mm-hmm. That if I do that on a 2x1 marker, that might be a little bit high if it's gray, right?
Correct.
Especially because you're like going to be in and out, whatever. But the guys that I remember, it wasn't that long ago, everybody was $150 on a final date.
Yep.
And they were you go do that on a polished 5.6008 3.0 blue pearl. Mm-hmm. And you're like, go mess that up for $150. And not that you're going to mess it up, but it may not even be your fault. Mm-hmm. Things like stencil lifts, the hose blows on your pot and sprays the whole stone. I mean, it doesn't have to be something you intentionally did. Mistakes happen. And so when you run into those things, you've got to be able to have enough money there to justify it. I'm at a point now where I'm starting to think 350 is too low on a final date.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, it's a miracle that the very first final date that I actually cut for a customer worked out, because whenever I first got started, I called, I think it was Miles Supply, and said, I need whatever I need to start cutting dates. And they said, okay, well, you're going to need a pot, you're going to need sand, and you're going to need glue. And I didn't realize you had to, because I asked him, I said, okay, the glue, like you put it on, how long do you let it set? He said, I'll put it on and then just let it set and then just stick it on. I said, well, how long does it have to set for? He said, oh, just give it like 30 seconds or so. Yeah. Well, one, I was applying the glue too thick. And this is in my practice sessions. I was applying the glue too thick. And of course, it just was basically grease underneath there, and always had that stencil trying to kind of smear around and walk on me. And so I thought that the glue was worthless. And I'd stuck a piece of stencil to a stone, and I said, oh, I can make this work. And so the very first final date I engraved was a 4-foot upright. And I just stuck the stencil straight to the frosted panel, and it stayed. yeah, good Lord was watching out for me on that one that day. And it's one of those, and I look back and think how lucky I got with that job. And then I'm so fortunate for two reasons that it didn't fail. For one, I didn't have to replace the stone, but two, if the very first final date that I ever did failed and I had to replace that entire stone, man, you talk about a huge mental setback right whenever you're in your beginning stages.
Yep. Yeah, and that's why we're so big on education on this stuff, because it's important to know what you can get into. Call your suppliers. They'll tell you how to sandblast that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest with you. Most of the suppliers don't really want to sandblast your stuff. It's a means to an end.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll sandblast it, and I don't mean like they don't want to sandblast it. That seems a bit rude. They don't really like the risk and the liability of it either, because it's not so much. I would say that the deal is it's not so much that they can't sandblast or they don't want to, or it's that they don't know how to by any stretch of the imagination. That's not it. What it is we're going to design something stupid. When I say I have designed stupid things. You've talked to Ross. He's told you. Like my name was a verb to Tom Oglesby.
Oh, definitely. So it's like I was talking to Ross that one time, and I said, if I ever send you anything and you look at it and say, what the hell are you thinking? Please let me know. And he said, Austin, I've dealt with Tony for years. Trust me, it's going to be okay.
But, I mean, it is what it is. Sometimes you send stuff in and the lines are too thin and you just didn't catch it, or your lines are too close together and it's going to blow out everywhere. One of the things that we run into a lot is we tend to use a bit of that, not a lot, but enough of that. We use Professional Mask out of Dallas, but photo mask or photo abrasive stencil, or I don't know what to call it, but you know what I mean.
Right.
And so we will use that product on certain things. So when your fonts are real tiny, well, there's a particular material that the university uses on some of their donor pillars that is a man-made stone. And for whatever reason, that stuff does not stick to it in the winter. And I don't even mean the winter. I don't mean like, hey, it's cold outside, it's not going to stick. I mean like October.
Right.
Like when it's not really
early fall.
Yeah, it's not really winter here. It's just yeah. But right now, even in the 90s, boy, it sticks well. Wipe it down real good. It sticks real good. What's funny though is I can do that same stencil on polished granite in December, no problem. And so this stuff all has different things. It's when you realize that you're dealing with chemicals and mechanical things or whatever, all this stuff reacts differently, and you just gotta treat it like you're an engineer and you're trying to problem solve. And I think that's a big factor in a lot of this stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, don't ever be afraid to ask questions. And one thing that I wish I would have paid more attention to and realized, especially whenever I built my shop, I was thinking that a lot of the tools, the material, things like that were just so industry specific to us, and not realizing that a lot of this is a lot of common things. And you can build a lot of this stuff yourself if you're mechanically inclined enough to do so yourself. And like don't ever be afraid to experiment. Some of the biggest breakthroughs I've had as far as in my mental growth here is just me taking a piece of rock and saying I want to try something.
Yeah, don't be afraid to fail.
No, absolutely not.
And to that note, I don't know if he's going to be upset that I say this, but I don't think he will. We talked about this the other day with Jonathan. I won't go into what he did, but he had a project that he was a little worried to step in to do, and he asked me to help him. I could never get it to work out on my schedule, and he found a way to go do it. He just, have a little more faith in himself, but not be afraid to fail and understand what you were going to get into. I've said it before, have those people you're willing to call and say, what's the potential problems here?
Mm-hmm.
Once you get past that, you go, all right, this is what the potential. If this is what the potential issue is, I know how to mitigate it. I've got a plan for if that issue comes up now on how to handle it.
Mm-hmm.
So the same thing I tell my guys all the time is so I get on to them about not having equipment. Every install you go do, walk through the install in your head, and so that you know what you will need before you leave.
Please.
Yeah.
Because that truck's cost money to come back together.
My guys will tell you, if you get in touch with my guys, you ever see them, ask them what's the thing that makes me the maddest, and they will say unnecessary trips. Make sure you have it all. That's it. Don't make unnecessary trips because it backs everything up. It's not just the cost of the extra trip to go get whatever it is you didn't bring, but it's all the other stuff that is now pushed back because the schedule's now been altered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because now you're not going to be able to make that last cemetery of the day that you had in mind. And so now you got to push it to tomorrow, or do you do it first thing in the morning? Well, you're going in opposite direction now. Or do you wait? Well, no, maybe I got to do it it's one of those things that just snowballs, and it totally will wreck schedules and can end up getting some unhappy phone calls because of.
Yeah. No, so that's I would say that just be smart about what you do. So how's everything else going? What else is going on in your world?
Oh, school starts for the kids this coming Wednesday.
Same boat.
We got that going on. We finally have wound down our summer to the point where I think our last little hurrah will be this weekend. We're going to go watch a Rangers game tomorrow, which I'm super, super, super excited about. Not one just to go watch baseball, but tomorrow the Texas Rangers are inducting Josh Hamilton into the Rangers Hall of Fame. And that guy, hands down, is the greatest baseball player I have ever watched with my own two eyes. And it is also one of the saddest stories in sports history that the guy would have gone down in history as one of the greatest to ever play the game. But because of his personal issues in his life, it totally derailed every bit of it. And sad story, but he's made an excellent recovery from what I've heard, and it's just going to be great to see that man step out on a baseball field tomorrow. So I'm excited to see that.
Oh, that'll be good. I mean, and hopefully for your guys they win. But right now they're sitting at 5-1-7.
Mm-hmm.
And 4.5 games back.
Yep. It's getting to that point in the baseball season where things are ramping up and getting exciting as we're on this downhill slide headed towards October. Of course, right now the Rangers, not the Rangers. I'm sorry, the Astros are leading the AL West, but
we're struggling. We were like running with it.
Yep.
And injuries.
And right now, whenever they look over there in that mirror of their car, it says objects are closer than they appear. Yeah, it's the Mariners and the Rangers right there. So,
Mariners are game and a half back, and it's injuries has been a huge problem for the Stros right now. It's not the ability to play. It is absolute injuries. They've had several of them during games and whatnot, not just during practice. But man, going back and going out and getting Correa at the deadline though. Big get to get Correa back.
And got the homecoming.
Yeah, so getting the band back together. So, it's and I think that's some good stuff. It looks like Pena will come back before too long.
That's good.
Which is good. We're just so many. I think, man, I'd love to see Alvarez back, but I hadn't seen him on a lineup in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a good bat to have coming into August.
Killers.
I know. And man, if you could have him there, I mean, I don't even need him in the field. Just put him as a DH. Get him healthy enough to swing the bat and put a pinch runner in for him. That's if you can do that, you're golden. But man, right now we're struggling. It's a struggle bus. Mm-hmm. So can they make it? Look. Can they make a wild card where they're at? Possibly.
Oh, well.
You've got, in the AL.
Right now, the Rangers are at least in contention for the wild card. And I am totally fine with winning the wild card and letting the Astros have the AL West again, because if history repeats itself, that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. I mean, right now, so y'all have got, Yankees are 61 wins. Y'all are at 60 wins. Kind of looking through. You can already start writing some of these guys off. Baltimore's out. Tampa's out. The White Sox in it? No, not even close. 42 wins.
No.
How is it that the A's have a better record right now than the White Sox?
Oh, yeah. And it's like the Rockies. What a disaster of a season.
Oh, man. God. They can't get anybody. They're 30 wins. 30 and 84. They're 263 for their percentage right now. That's almost, what was it a couple of years ago when the A's couldn't get people to show up? The fans weren't showing up at all.
They had an average attendance, I believe, of like somewhere between 3,500 to 4,000 people that would attend a game. And
to give it
the last year, which was 2 years ago, that they were still in Oakland, I went so I could say I went and watched a game at the Coliseum, and I just happened to go on the night they were playing the Dodgers. And so that place was packed. And it was a sea of blue there. It was nothing but Dodgers fans, and you would see the little specks of green. And whenever we go to a field that the Rangers are not playing at, we will wear the home team shirts. I'll buy the hat. And man, it was fun, especially to meet a lot of the A's fans out there. And just my heart went out to them. I felt for them. They were losing their team, because I know what it'd feel like if the Rangers were to leave where they're at. But they beat the brakes off the Dodgers that night. And you talk about a fun time.
Yeah. Yeah. But even there's teams that are low on their percentage here that I wouldn't have told you. The Expos are sitting at 45 and 69 at 395. Yeah. The Washington Nationals.
Okay. I was making sure you were tracking on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew what I meant.
Yeah, okay.
They're still the Expos. I grew up in the 80s.
Yep.
Come on, that's where the unit got its start.
It is.
They're behind. I wouldn't have said that with their lineup. They've got some really good players over there, and just struggling. Diamondbacks, same kind of story. So, Dodgers are the Dodgers. They're in the comfortable spot. Brewers are impressive, but this is get your gear tight right now, because it's coming up. Of course, we're in the midst of football season coming up well over here, and for us as Aggies, it's funny because the hype train is starting up, and everybody's talking about Texas A&M football, and look, they could come back and surprise you. I'm going to tell you now. Go ahead and mark this down as gospel. I'm not getting excited about it. I'm just
that reminds me of a video I watched yesterday of a wife talking to her husband, and he was sitting there wearing his Cowboys jersey, and she said, for the past 30 years, it has snowed every year in Alaska. What would you be willing to bet that it will snow this year in Alaska? And he said, well, I've got 30 years of data to back that up. He said, I would bet every dollar I have in my bank account that it'll snow in Alaska. And she said, okay, then why are you going to bet on the Cowboys to win anything?
We're in the same boat here in Aggie land. Everybody, the talking heads are sitting there predicting a 10-2 season for the Aggies, and they could do better. They could actually do a couple upsets or whatever, and be 11-1 or something to that effect. And I'm sitting over here going, season ticket holder, we're going to be 6-6. So don't get excited. Just sit back and enjoy what you're going to have.
Just enjoy life.
Yeah. Sit around your friends, have an expensive beer. Go team.
There you go.
Giga Maggies. So, all right. Well, on that note, I guess we'll sign out and enjoy your weekends, whatever y'all are doing. I guess this won't be if you listen, you won't listen to it on the weekend, but whatever.
No.
There we go.
They'll get it next week. But like you said, on that note, we're out.
Yep. Have a good one.
Have a good one.